We are going to be joined now by Melanie Duquesnel. She's the CEO for the Better Business Bureau. Thank you so much for being with us. It's great to have you.
Not a problem. I'm glad to be here.
So, are you seeing an increase of online scams and people falling victim to them right now?
I'm sad to say yes. And the problem is that it's hitting all demographics. But ask me a few more questions and I'll tell you more.
What's so hard is you get these emails and they really do look legit. Like whether it's Netflix or Amazon. If I get another one from Apple again, and so what I've been even my husband said, "Oh, I have this one from Netflix. There's a billing question." I'm like, "You don't even have the Netflix account," but he's like, "But it looks so real." So, what should they look for, and what can they do to avoid not becoming a victim?
So, it's online shopping time. So you're going to be looking at what did you order, who'd you order it from, when is it supposed to be delivered. You almost need to keep a calendar when you do order, who you ordered it from, and when is it going to be delivered, so you don't fall prey to the scams that come your way. The UPS tracking scam is raging right now. It looks like UPS sends you a notification that you're about to get a package that you may have ordered or you may not have. So the best way to avoid those kind of things is go directly to the place you ordered it. Don't click on that link. Go right to the website. And by going to the website, you avoid whatever might be in that link that could be malware, could be a bot that they're trying to install on your computer to get your personal information. So you want to do your best to avoid it. And the only way that I know is to go in and type in Amazon.com or Target.com, or if you really think it's a UPS tracking, go to UPS.com. But by doing that, you avoid whatever might be behind the scenes in that link.
Melanie Duquesnel with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is the CEO of the Better Business Bureau, joining us today on the program. And of course, at this time of the year, you have a lot more people that are doing things online, especially now during the pandemic. Is that increase that much greater now in the number of people falling victim to these scams because of the pandemic, on top of the regular issues that may arise yearly during the holiday season?
Well, it's a simple case of numbers. If you have more people ordering online, you have more opportunities for scams and frauds. So the Michigan Retailers Association is anticipating that traditional online orders used to range about 40 to 50% of somebody's Christmas list. They're estimating it could rise to 70% on average. So just think about that. A 30% increase over what they did last year to this year. We're all busy. The problem is we're all so busy trying to battle COVID, make sure our families are safe, make sure that we do what we're supposed to do in our own marketplace. So when you're doing all of that, sometimes you get a little hurried and you see something pop up in a text or an email and you go, yeah, that's what I did, click. Once you've hit the click, your opportunities for taking it back are zero. Absolutely zero. So you need to make absolutely certain, I know I'm using absolutely a lot, but you do need to make certain that you know exactly what you're clicking on. So scams and frauds are occurring because the opportunity or low-hanging fruit is right there. So yeah, we're anticipating it going way up. And sadly, there'll be people, especially millennials, Gen Y, Gen Zs, that are just so accustomed to getting conversations or alerts on their phones that they're natural to click those. In fact, just a little statistic, the most likely to be scammed and lose money right now are millennials. They're not going to lose a ton, but they're going to lose some. The most likely to be scammed and lose a lot of money are going to be our seniors because they have all the money rather than the millennials who are just starting their money journey.
So if someone does become victim to one of these scams, do they have any recourse?
It really depends. Most times, if you use your credit card, and let's say that you clicked on something and on Facebook, let's change it a little bit. So let's say you're scrolling through your Facebook and you see this really cool item and you go, I really want to buy that. Please note that Facebook does not vet their advertisers whatsoever. So you do not know who that advertiser is behind the scenes. Before you click a buy situation, take a second, open a new page in your browser, and do a little research. You know, if you're going to buy the puppy cushion or you're going to buy the new 2020 Christmas ornament, know who you're buying from. Because again, Facebook isn't looking out for your best interest on that. They're just taking their advertising dollars. I know that makes me think that, you know, make people think that Facebook is bad. No, they're just doing what the marketplace does. When somebody offers you money to advertise on your website, people take it and run. So recognize that you are the best person to make sure that you don't get scammed. If you buy anything online, always use a credit card. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because if you do not get that product, you can go to your credit card company and notify them, and 99% of the time they will reverse the charges. If you use a debit card, and there are lots of people that would prefer to use a debit card because they don't want to rack up credit card costs, you open yourself up to allowing the scammer into your bank accounts. So unless you have a bank account that you have like your Christmas fund in, rather than your house fund, you can use a debit card because the possibility of loss is small. But if you're going to just use your general checking account, your risk is quite significant.
When should a person know to bring in an organization like yours, the Better Business Bureau?
We should always be your first course of business. And I know that sounds really pompous, but if you're looking at trying to figure out if this is a business you want to do business with, if they're trustworthy, we're at a click away. You go to bbb.org, you type in the name of the company. Now, I'm going to warn you, we don't have everybody on the planet. So going back to that Facebook example, a lot of those advertisers are actually offshore. They're not US-based companies. We don't have those companies in our database. We cover North America. We cover mainly Canada and the US and a little bit of Mexico. But from the perspective of, we do our best to make sure we have just-in-time data. You can call us, you can go online, and if we don't have that information, we also have resources that we can maybe get you to the point where you get that information you're looking for.
So it's not just online scams right now that's happening. I know a lot of people are hiring contractors to come in and do work, but what type of homework should an individual do before they allow a contractor into their home?
Well, in the times of COVID, you need to ask them what they're doing to make sure that the people they're putting in your house are safe. Are they tested on a regular basis? Are they masking up? What are you going to do to make sure that you've got the social distance you need to make sure that you're safe? I'll give you an example. I just had a friend of mine have a plumber in, and she literally afterwards went throughout the house making sure that she Lysoled everything so her bubble would be safe. But the contractor actually did all the things that he was supposed to do, but she was taking additional precautions. If you're looking at doing the quick remodeling because you're going to have family over for Christmas, make sure you know who you're working with. Has the company been around for a while? Has the company had any major complaints or bad customer reviews? Look at, when you do any customer review search on bbb.org, look at their best one and their worst one and literally throw them away. You want to look at the middle of the pack and see how the business has handled perhaps an oops that they never intended, but for whatever reason happened. Murphy's Law does reign. And from that perspective, make sure that they handled it. They stepped up when they needed to, and they resolved the issue.
Yeah, because when there are so many online reviews right now, how does an individual know which ones are real reviews and which ones are bogus ones?
Yeah, well, I'll give you an example with BBB. I cannot speak to my competitors, but I can speak to BBB. When we get a customer review on any business, should it be an accredited business or a non-accredited business, we are sending it to the business to confirm that this was their customer. If it wasn't, we don't publish it. So think about it. The stuff that you get at bbb.org has been vetted. We have conversed with the business and made sure that this reviewer has the relationship that is necessary to make sure that the review is what it is.
Are you finding that in the middle of this pandemic, are people taking the time to do more research, or is it just click away or, buy away, or are they trying to be a more educated consumer?
There's definitely two schools of thought there. There is the one that I would say, and I'll use my demographic as the example, we tend to be a little bit more research driven. The ones that are in a hurry, not necessarily related to a house improvement or something of that sort, where I consider a big ticket item, but they're going to buy a dress or they're going to buy some shoes online. They're not checking. They're just buying because they consider $50 to $100 expendable. In my mind, $2 is not expendable, but that's a whole nother thing.
And what advice do you give to some of the people that maybe are running into issues because of COVID? So I know some of my friends are having issues with StubHub right now with tickets to events, and they're saying, well, because of COVID or airlines, things of that nature. Are there ways for a customer to navigate if they're not getting the results from the company? Who, the company representative may basically say, well, due to the pandemic, we can't assist you.
That's when hopefully you've acquired the item or the service with a credit card, because then you can back right out of it because you've not been delivered the goods or the services, and you can go to your credit card provider and say, reverse the charges. So I'll use the airline. I actually just went out to Vegas to see my parents. They're in their 80s. Did all the right things, got my COVID test, got antibody test, did all that fun stuff before I got on the plane. I will tell you my personal opinion, Delta did a great job, made sure everything was clean, they hand you stuff, made sure everything was cool. And when I got home, what did I do? I quarantined. But I will also tell you that Delta changed our flight time 3 separate times from the time we booked to the time we took off. So it was all COVID related. They were looking at the number of butts and seats, and the result was that they had to amend. So you have to be flexible in that. But if it's a product or service that you did not get, and you're not going to get because it's taken way too long, contact your credit card company and have the charges reversed.
So, Melanie, such great advice from you today. Before we let you go, anything we didn't touch on that you think our viewers and listeners would benefit from hearing?
Well, homework is hard. Homework is time consuming, but homework is so necessary during this time. Understanding what retailer you're working with and understanding what their COVID restrictions are. The Michigan Retailers Association just published what the restrictions are with this latest advisory from the health department. And they're really trying to look at what's the number of people in our space. So if you are concerned about your health and you want to make sure that if you get to that retailer that you're going to be able to shop, call ahead. Make some phone calls and just walk through with them. I will tell you, the retailers that we work with are more than happy to field those kind of calls, because not only do they want to keep you safe, but they want to keep their own teams safe. So just pack your patience, pack your brain, because sometimes we get so uptight about, I got to get this, Cabbage Patch doll. I'm showing my age. But, make sure that that thing is not as important as your health. That's my 2 cents.
Well, that's a good place to leave on. Melanie Duquesnel with us. She's the CEO for the Better Business Bureau. Quickly, before we let you leave, if someone needs to contact your organization, how can they do so?
They can call us at 248-223-9400 or go to bbb.org/Detroit.
Well, we so appreciate your time today, and thank you for all of the advice and your words of wisdom as we all continue to navigate this crazy crisis, and hopefully it will come to an end soon and we will be able to get out and shop like we used to. So thank you for your time.